All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update, daily edition, midday edition. I want to talk to everybody because I think people are getting a little bit discouraged right now. So I want to look at Bitcoin, I want to look at the Bitcoin miners and talk about the overall trend. I'm going to let you know where I'm at and what I think is coming next. So if you're new to the channel, we talk about Bitcoin and the miners all the time on this channel. So please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. Let's try and get 300 likes on this. Everybody's pretty discouraged right now. So I encourage you guys to smash the like button and let's spread this video and get everybody back in the loop. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to briefly just go through the Bitcoin miner big board. We are in the middle of the trading day, and I will tell you the way these trading days have been going, who knows where we're going to end. This has been a little bit of a yo-yo for several weeks now, and the overall trend for the last week or so has been down. But we're going to look at bigger trends than that and talk about where I think we're going from here. But let's start by looking at the big board. So at the moment today, and we're in the middle of the trading day, this is a very, very green big board. So not gigantic moves to the upside. I will tell you, Marathon, which is the second largest market cap out of all of the Bitcoin miners, is having a big up day today, up 7.5%. Riot, which is the largest Bitcoin miner by market cap, is also having a nice day, up about 5.5%. Other than that, you can kind of scan the big board. There is one big outlier. As always, there's two or three that are moving in a different direction. So there's three in the red. DigiHost is down 11% today. Other than that, we seem to be having a positive day. But again, I don't know where the day is going to end, and I'm also not too worried about where the day is going to end. That's why I want to take a little bit of a bigger picture look, because I think there's a story to be told, and I think we are playing out a trend here that we are still in the middle of and we are not done with. So if we zoom in and talk about what's going on today, as always, there's an orange line on here. That is where Bitcoin was when the market closed yesterday. Bitcoin was at about 23,300 yesterday. So you'll see we are up from there. We're up about 1%. So we've trended still pretty close to that, but a little bit upward. The market's a little bit up, Bitcoin's a little bit up, and that's why the big board is green today, and most of the miners are doing, okay today. But I want to zoom out to a bigger picture because I don't think that this tells us very much, because at the moment, we are stuck in a range. So I want to go through the top of that range and the bottom of that range and talk about what it means. I believe until we break out of one side or the other, we're really going sideways. In that period of time, the Bitcoin miners, other than today, have been drifting downward. So I do think there's a potential opportunity there, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So again, this is not financial advice. You guys need to decide which stocks you buy and sell and do your own due diligence. But I'm going to show you what I think are the two parameters to the upside and to the downside that are going to define what the next move in the Bitcoin miners will be, because I do think there's a big move coming in the next few weeks. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So what I want to focus on is this green line right here. This green line at around 22,250. We have been trading on this green line really all the way back to, this is January 21st. So that is more than a month ago. That's about 5 or 5.5 weeks ago. So you can see we were on either side of this line for a while. Then we had one big dip underneath the line. Then we had a run above the line and stayed above for a while. And now here we are again, back hanging right around this line. And I will say that at the moment, this line is providing some support here in the very short term. But the fact of the matter is, other than a surge to the downside for about a week and then a surge to the upside for about a week, we've been stuck in a very tight range, somewhere around this $23,250 green line. Now, in the middle of that, we got up to this purple line, which is at about 25,200. So that's what I want to talk about as the top of the current range that we are stuck in. You can see we tested this. We got over 25,000, which is this dotted blue line, several times here. I'm going to move to the daily chart just to get a clearer picture of this. 25,200, I think, is the critical line to the upside. Right now, as we're trading, even though we've traded a little bit downward, it's really right back to where we started. I think this is an awful lot of consolidation. The first 2 or 3 weeks of January, Bitcoin was off to the races. The Bitcoin miners were off to the races. And I think we've been doing a lot of consolidation since then. But we are inside of a larger trend that is bullish and is moving upward, and that has not changed yet. So I wanted to find the top end and the low end. There is a number at which we could get to where I think that trend will reverse. So we're in a very big rally. At one point, we were up as much as 65% from November to the middle of February. We've pulled back a little, but we're still up substantially. And again, the trend is still upward right now. So I also want to be crystal clear. I'm not talking about the fact that we've hit bottom and we're in a bull market and we're off to the races. So that's an important distinction. I do think, I've been saying all along, I started just before the beginning of this year talking about the fact, I do think it's going to be a volatile year. I think we're going to have a lot of ups and downs, but I am bullish for the year. So I do think we will finish this year higher than we started, although I don't think we're going to be taking out all-time highs or anything like that. I think the trend is going to be upward in the year 2023. So a lot of people are asking me, how come the Bitcoin miners are so stale and so sideways and they're not following along with Bitcoin right now? And I believe that the answer to that is we tested and failed at this $25,200 line. So I believe the Bitcoin miners are suffering the wrath of that. Right now, people are convinced that that is a hard ceiling. So the Bitcoin miners are not moving up, and I don't think they're going to take a big move to the upside until we break through that line and establish that as a line of support versus a line of resistance. But once we do that, there is this giant gap that we've talked about between 25,200 and 28,800. There's a very big gap that I think we could fill in a reasonably short period of time. So that is when I'm looking for the next big move to the upside for the Bitcoin miners. I think there is another big leg up. In my opinion, the momentum still is bullish. I think we had a very strong test. We failed at 25.2. That was just the first time. I think the next time we get there, I think there's a very good chance that we break through and take the next leg up. So I will continue to say, as I have been for the last several weeks, I do think we're still headed to 29,000. So I know these days and sometimes weeks in the middle can be very frustrating, and sometimes the correlation between Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners isn't what we hope it is. Sometimes that's dictated more by what the NASDAQ is doing. So there's a lot of factors. I think the single biggest factor right now is all the Bitcoin miners are trading inside of a range, and that range is capped because of this $25,200 very strong line of resistance. On the flip side, I want to talk about lines of support to the downside. So I believe we're running up to 29,000. That is what I still believe, but here's what would change my mind, right? We have to look at what's happening and adjust to the circumstances. So you can see through these yellow lines I've represented that we have had a series of higher lows. We've also had a series of higher highs, you can see. We went sideways really in November and December, and since January hit, we've just been in a bullish trend now for 2 full months. So to me, that yellow line represents what's going on right now, and we have not broken out of that pattern. So I would only switch what I think is going to happen if we take out this line of support. This line of support is at 21,478. We haven't gotten anywhere near this line of support yet. That's not to say it won't happen, but if we do that, then we will now, instead of having a series of higher lows, we will be setting a lower low, and to me that would be the first super strong signal that this bull run that we're in could be over. I don't think that's going to happen. We're seeing, in my opinion, very healthy behavior from Bitcoin. We have found a solid line of support at this purple line at about $22,400, so that's about $1,000 over the line that I would be concerned about. So in the meantime, we held support at the $22,400 level. We seem to be now holding support at the $23,200 level. So I do think that, yes, this is a painful period of time, and the Bitcoin miners are behaving a little bit erratically. There are some that are having a nice day today, but for the last week and a half, it's been a little bit discouraging. I know a lot of you guys have disengaged a little bit and are scratching your heads wondering what's going on. So I just wanted to jump on and let everybody know that I think, this is just a healthy part of the consolidation process. I don't see any sign anywhere that has led me to believe that something has changed from what's happening over the last 2 months. I want to show you one more thing. We've had the exact opposite on the RSI. We've had a series of lower highs, and this line has proved as a line of resistance on the daily RSI. However, 50, which is basically neutral, and I've always said on this channel for years, good things happen over 50 on the daily RSI. So that is where most of the upward movement in Bitcoin has been over the years. It's when Bitcoin breaks over 50 and takes a run up from there. So you can see, although we're having a series of lower lows, 50 has pretty much held this entire run. We did get just a little bit below it for a few days several weeks ago, but even then the lowest we got was just about 46. This past time we got down to 50.2 and bounced off of that, so 50 did hold. So I do think you're seeing a flag form here, and this pattern is going to have a breakout sometime in the next couple of weeks. this is going to break one way or the other. I mean, at this point, these two lines meet, so it has no choice but to break one way or the other at that point. So for me, I believe the momentum is still in our favor. I think the technicals are still good. This period of consolidation, I think, is healthy. They are frustrating, and we've seen long periods of consolidation. If you remember, back in November and December, we had almost 2 full months of going basically sideways. The end result of that was a big run to the upside. So I don't mind that we're going a little bit sideways right now. We did have a huge run up. So that January gigantic run that we had, that was about a 65% run up in Bitcoin, if we are cooling off and all the indicators are resetting themselves without having to revisit lows or even change the trend, to me, that's healthy consolidation, and that leads me to believe that we're headed upward. So I'm hanging in there. I'm waiting for this. This is not financial advice. I can't tell you we're going to $29,000. Only the future knows the answer to that question. But I think all these indicators are very healthy, and I think this sideways activity has been positive. I do know that it is frustrating if you're holding Bitcoin or if you're holding the Bitcoin miners, depending on which one you're holding. This maybe hasn't been the greatest 2 or 3 weeks for you. But do remember that January was absolutely off the charts for almost every single Bitcoin miner. And if February is some consolidation, maybe March can be another move to the upside. I guess my final thoughts are I would try to pay less attention to the day-to-day on this because it will drive people crazy. Bitcoin is unbelievably volatile. But if you do zoom out even to the 1-day time frame, I think you'll see we're still moving in the right direction. So if that changes, obviously I will be back on here with another video to say, oh, I was wrong. It looks like the rally is over and we're headed to the downside. So I'll be the first one to say that if it happens. But in the meantime, I don't believe that's what's happening right now. I think we're still on path. So I'm still optimistic that we're going to retest 25,200. We're going to break through 25,200. And then there's room to run on the upside, potentially up to 29,000. Do your due diligence, use your best judgment, and hang in there. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.